NFT. Yes, everybody sees the video, but forever when they watch that video on the top, it will say this video is sponsored by Daniel. I mean, that's also cool, right? So that's not encrypted. But the encrypted, I think, will be great ways for bloggers to make money. For example, I'm doing all this work, I'm creating this content, I don't have enough to pay this month, right? I need to pay rent, I need to buy something. I'm gonna put out some amazing NFT for my audience, and I'm gonna quickly raise money for it, as opposed to always like asking, please donate, because it does get tiresome. I'm gonna do some extra work, and I'm gonna give them value for it. Okay. Um, so that's the exclusive NFT. There are other ways that bloggers will earn money. So I already talked about this self-service Pocketnet advertising. This is also coming. It's going to be based on very similar concepts cryptographically. But the idea is that you as a blogger, right? It's like decentralized Google AdWords, but decentralized. Bloggers, as a blogger, you can publish ad prices. Buyers can find bloggers based on verifiable audience. That's important, by the way, verifiable audience. Remember, when you buy advertising on Google and Facebook, how do you verify that somebody really clicked on your link if you pay per click? Do you know? Uh, yeah, it's an easy answer. You don't, because there are lawsuits now where data came out that Facebook, for example, up to 900% they inflate the real number of clicks. So you can't trust that data. You can't trust the audiences. But on a blockchain, you can see the audience. You can see the engagement that the audience has. How often are they rating the post? How often are they commenting? All of this happens on the blockchain, so it's quite verifiable. What tags are used? So you can find an outlet to promote your stuff. You can promote, goods, or you can promote your own blog through another blogger. Um, Buyer proposes an ad. So I propose, say, here, Donnie, on your channel, I want to run this, and I'm going to put together a post with the ad and add it in there. It's not advertising yet. It's now still kind of in limbo. It's what's called a multi-signature transaction, but also partially signed. So then it gets to the blogger, and the blogger reviews it and says, is this appropriate for my audience? If the blogger decides, yes, it's appropriate, the second they publish it, immediately it goes into their channel and the money goes to the blogger. So it's riskless. It's all automatic. You don't need to trust that, okay, what if the blogger takes the money but then doesn't do it, and so on and so forth. It's a completely riskless way to do advertising. And not only it's riskless, the blogger makes all of the money, because if you advertise on YouTube now, guess how much money, what proportion of it the bloggers actually make? Uh, very little, and that's up until they're banned. So this is a riskless approach for advertising with Pocketcoin. And there are other ways. The other way that we're releasing, imminently in a couple of weeks. No, YouTube doesn't take 2%. That's not true. YouTube, if they took 2% only, I'm sorry, you probably said that 2% gives to bloggers. That's actually closer to the truth. Bloggers could make up to 20-30%, but very few of them do. They have to have special relationship with YouTube. Usually they're very much in line, they toe the party line. But yeah, you're right. For many bloggers, it's closer to 2% of what they make. So here they're going to make 99 point something, 0.8%, because there's only transaction fees that the bloggers pay. So this is huge. This is another way to help support authors. There's yet more ways. One other way we're putting out, this is going to be ready. So the marketplace and NFTs are going to be ready at this point. I think it's fair to say August. So by August, they'll be ready. There's another thing that'll be ready in July, and this is donations with comments. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Kryptonite. So donations with comments are coming. And, right now you can donate to anybody in Pocket, right? You can go in above the post. There are 3 dots you can write and just donate. But again, we want to gamify that a little bit. We want to make it easy and fun to support your favorite authors. How do we do that? Right now, when you comment, you just comment, but you will be able to attach some Pocket Coin very easily. So you write a comment, and then you're going to press like 1 Pocket Coin, and your comment goes together with 1 Pocket Coin to the author. And of course, now it's displayed that you've donated. Your comment has special relevance. Perhaps, there's more chance of an answer. Maybe perhaps you feel good for supporting, and you should, that you're not greedy. You're supporting somebody who does something important for freedom of speech. So these comments from bloggers are going to be very important. They're also going to be very important for live streams, because on live stream, usually the blogger cannot really say, basically announce out loud all of the questions they get from the audience. There's too many. But you could ensure that they mention your question on air by adding like a 5 Pocket Coin donation, right? So you're supporting the blogger, you getting your opinion heard. So it's a win-win situation. We want, decentralization is awesome because there's not a centralized entity that needs to suck up all this air. There's not. Decentralized platform needs transaction fees like oil in the engine. That's it. Everything else goes to the blogger. So we want to make it win-win. So it's not just, we'll give the money to the blogger, give the money to the blogger. No, you give the money to the blogger, you get something back. You get reputation, you get announcement, you get recognition. Hamid wrote, charities can use this to raise money through live streams. Exactly. Anybody, any blogger, this is so ideal for live streams because, and live streams are out, these comments are going to be connected to live streams. You write a comment, you put 10 Pocket Coin, $40. The blogger appreciates that. They're going to announce it. You like, your comment is, you have your point heard, and so on and so forth. So the topics and the bloggers you care about, you'll be able to support, but support in a very interesting way where you're not just giving coin, but you're actually getting kind of feedback. So it's more human, more interaction. So that's coming very soon. That's only a couple of weeks away. So today, and this is where Pocketnet will win in the end. I am sure of this. When I thought of this platform long ago, I didn't know that there would be so many people that are working on it now. I literally, I'm talking about it, but most other people are actually doing this stuff. But I know in the long run, the trends are there in place. If you just read the news over the last 2-3 weeks, you will hear that Twitter is now saying that they need to build a Twitter on blockchain. You hear, other social network, Minds just got $10 million new infusion, I read somewhere. Well, we don't have VCs, we don't get financing, but they do. There's another person I just read, he's a billionaire. He said he's investing $100 million into building something, some decentralized on a blockchain. So 3 years ago, when I talked to people about this, they said, well, there's Steam, but Steam is not decentralized really. There's Steam, and that's not going to work. It's crazy. This is not a workable idea. You can't have Bitcoin like blockchain network. Now it's like a consensus. Everybody thinks that it's the future. So we've gone through a part where we were looked at as kind of crazies. Now we're getting to a point where soon it will be a conventional wisdom. We're going to grow fast soon. I mean, I'm certain of this. You can see that every day there's more and more people joining. There's more and more bloggers joining. We just came out of beta recently. So the long run, one of the strong forces for Pocketnet is this absence of the centralized, the centralized entity that sucks out all the air. Because centralized entities in this type of environment, they're typically, they limit competition. They want all the money. They want all the stuff. And you can't really stop them. And it's not based on people, right? The person could be very, very nice, like Brian Acton of WhatsApp, apparently like a very freedom-oriented guy, and what could he do when he was offered $19 billion? Maybe he doesn't want them, but he had a board, he had all these other reasons to take that money. With Pocketnet, it's not like that. You don't need to rely on any one human being. First of all, like I designed it, but if I stepped away tomorrow and I still do research, but I don't even do practical work. There are so many people around the world that keep this thing up. There are hundreds of nodes already that it is, virtually indestructible. So you don't need to rely on a human being. And then you can, if for whatever reason something did something wrong, just like Bitcoin, you could fork it and you can do other stuff. In fact, we're going to make it easy for you to create your own versions of Pocketnet, right? You can create your own backend, your own front end. And ultimately, Pocketnet is going to become almost like a platform. I mean, it is a platform, but a platform like, let's say, think of it like Android, right? What is an Android or Windows, right? It's an operating system, a place where people build apps. So that's what Pocketnet is going to be. You're going to be able to build so many different things on top of Pocketnet. And at the core is a very simple idea that decentralized works when there are many, many functions. So if you look at Google and Facebook, there are very few things that those entities do that are really valuable, right? Maybe for the first few years they did some valuable stuff to people, but they don't do something valuable today. Yet they collect ever growing share They take their pound of flesh, second pound of flesh, and so on. Okay. So let me answer some questions. So pocket phone someday, it's a dream, right? It's a dream because Android and iOS are gated systems. And we looked very hard into alternative platforms, but it's just not our weight category right now. But eventually, if we had a Pocketnet and many different apps on it, somebody smarter than me could create a operating system and see if you can, let's say, take an Android phone, wipe it, and put it on there. I don't know. That's a big thing, but that's down the road. So Pocket phone, right? A decentralized, purely not privacy-oriented phone would be great. I think that if we become big, it is possible, but there would need to be another team of people that with certain qualifications because, I am a math geek. We have a lot of programmers, but doing kind of smartphone operating systems, that's a very special thing. Will all the forks use Pocket Coin? Absolutely. The forks will use Pocket Coin, and they will be able to use the reputation and the login. So just like now you have login with Google, you'll be able to log in with Pocketnet within that framework. So and there'll be incentive for developers because they'll be developing an app that there's an audience already. There's a global audience, easy to log in, right in the same app. And you wouldn't have to give up your private key. You would just sign something with your private key. The app would verify it, check with the Pocketnet blockchain. Oh, this person really has a reputation of X and so on, and bring you into the network. So all this is possible. And it's not only it's possible, if we in the next 6 months, it's crucial for Pocketnet. So that on it, run a node, whatever you can do, buy Pocket Coin, whatever you can do, because in the next 6 months, I think it's a time where we need to establish our presence. If we establish our presence and grow big, and I think we will, then the things we talked about becoming a platform for apps, and so they become inevitable. They're not just possible, they become inevitable. Because once you have a large audience, established technology, and you open it up, right? And we're interested in opening up. We have no reason to keep it a closed system. We're not, Apple. This is not our interest. We are going to open it up. It's just a matter of creating that hub, that audience and technology. So wow, under our blog name, powered by Pocketnet. Exactly, exactly. You can do many things, right? You can build different services on the platform. Value is key. Yeah, Facebook and Google are bastards, of course. They're gatekeepers, and that's in in Microsoft. Yeah, Pocketnet browser. That's another thing where this is like I'm salivating over this. A Pocketnet browser would be so awesome. I mean, in a sense, like our desktop app is kind of a proto browser, but of course it's a proto browser. I think with the moving to SQLite, it is going to be much better positioned, for example, to do things like search, right? Search will be much better. But as far as actually building a browser, again, that needs to be a team. If you know developers who are looking for a project, bring them on. They can, have them build something. They can connect with us. There are early node holders that will give them some Pocket Coin. They can build a browser. There's many things possible right now because, quite frankly, the legacy old big tech is bankrupt. But they're not bankrupt in terms of money. They're rolling in money. They're bankrupt in terms of confidence and their conscience. They're like, they're opposite of, do no evil or whatever they wrote, on their slogans. So they're morally bankrupt. Their trust is gone. So I think it's inevitable that people build other stuff. We just have to help them. So Pocketnet browser, and it's easier. That Pocketnet browser is much easier than the Pocket phone. I think one person dedicating 5-6 months could write a Pocketnet browser if we find one, because there's a lot of people on Pocketnet, but they're all busy with all this stuff. Pocket phone would be huge. Pocket phone would be, if we got there, if we had a phone that uses your decentralized pseudonymous identity, that you can switch identities at will, that you can access all these apps through these different, that's private. I mean, that would be a dream. That would be a dream. So on and so forth. So, all right. Yeah. Once the value is established, the platforms explodes. Exactly. And we've been working very, very hard for the last year and a half, 2 years. It seemed maybe slow, but that's because at the core, it is very complex. To build a network like we do is 100 times more complicated than building like a Facebook. and maybe 50 times more complicated in building like Steam. It's just much more complicated to build a decentralized thing. Um, Somebody wrote, maybe you can connect with Pi developers who are still brainstorming. I will tell you, Scott, we will ask everybody to help us with that, because there's so many people we need to connect to, and there's so many hours in a day, and we need to do so much stuff. So if you have an idea for that, you have our permission to contact them, connect us, propose ideas. Soon, what we're going to do in the next, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks, all of the developers will open pseudonymous accounts on Pocketnet. We're going to give them a separate developer badge. And so you'll know that these are true developers. So you'll be able to ask them about releases. I mean, of course, they're not going to spend all the time, but they're going to be on there. And there'll be a special group, because we're also working on groups for Pocketnet. That's going to be end of July. There'll be a group, but it's going to be open, and you can discuss these kinds of things. But even now, reach out to them. If there is a way, because what Pocketnet gives, if somebody's working on an operating system for a phone that can replace Android, let's say, what we give them is very, very much. We have a decentralized identity, truly decentralized identity. That's huge, because there you have a login, you have reputation, you have various other things that you could do. We also have them a layer, give them a layer. Pocketnet is a blockchain, is a layer where they can register different services. I already explained in previous sessions where you can register a video server. It's not right now, we're tweaking it, but basically soon you'll be able to register a video server and provide video services and get paid for it. Now, the same way we'll be able to register a chat server and provide chat services. But there could be many other things. If you could do video and chat, those are the most complicated things, really. Think about all these other apps you could create by simply registering a server on the blockchain and providing services. What's cool about that too is that it offloads the blockchain. Think about the video platform. Video is one of the biggest things happen on Pocketnet because it takes things out of the blockchain. It is now only the video is registered on a blockchain, but watching a video, content, running a video is now on an outside server that's registered and connected to the blockchain. So that's huge, because in the long run, that's scalability. That is not like Ethereum where you put all your data into a blockchain. No, it's a registration layer. You register a service and you provide a service, and we will open up protocols for doing that. So if you have a operating system that you wrote for a decentralized app, you can now open it up for developers to create any kind of services, because what do you need for an app, right? You need essentially, simply, two things: front end and back end, right? That's all you need. So front end, do whatever you want, right? Whatever the platform or operating system allows you. Back end is the problem. Back end is typically the more difficult thing. But if you have this blockchain that you can use to register services, to get identification from, and so on and so forth, plus to get a wallet and to get the coins, and maybe there'll be different forks of Pocket Coin. So you could have a number of different this Pocket Coin is for this Pocket Coin is for other services. I mean, it's going to be huge. So we just need people, right? And we've been blessed. We've been blessed with a number of people that are coming forward and joining, but we need more. We need more. And yeah, from marketing standpoint, somebody writes a kryptonite, I think. Privacy and ownership is key. Exactly. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of Pocketnet. Yeah, they want, and Blark writes, they want to keep everyone in place so they can control everything and never feel threatened. Yes, but it's going to be harder. I mean, it's harder with Bitcoin, right? They can still do stuff, but like, what do you do with Bitcoin? It's a bunch of nodes, it's a bunch of people. There's not like an obvious thing where you just go and say, do this, right? So you come to me and say, Daniel, don't work on this anymore. I'm an idea guy. Okay, shut me down. What's going to happen? Nothing. Pocketnet will persevere. There are many things happening. So people are tired of being spied on. How big is the gap between P2P and a phone call? So this is a question. So our chat will not handle phone calls. That is because we don't want to do something that's going to be subpar. Honestly, to do a phone call in a Pocketnet isn't feasible the way we want it. It would just be too many resources. Well, we want to keep it at a level where anybody can spin up a computer and support the network. I mean, it can't be like a 20-year-old PC. Obviously, it needs to be a good computer. But if you're going to do video calls, the requirements on bandwidth and storage and encryption and processing are a little bit too high for good quality right now. So I think that if that's your question, we're not going to be able to go from peer-to-peer chat to a phone call, but we are going to have peer-to-peer chat encrypted, not like Telegram where they tell you it's encrypted, but you have to press a bunch of buttons to actually have a secret chat, right? This is going to be encrypted by default and with a very strong encryption. ICP is working on a phone version of the ICP project. I don't know about that one, Hamid, but if you want to reach out to them, I don't know. We have to research it, but obviously we're willing to talk to anybody, and the more the better. Um, there's a lot of potential. What live feed for gamers? Exactly, Clifford. I think you meant gamers. Yeah, live feed for gamers, huge. And donations, right? You go to I don't know what it is on D Live, but like on YouTube, they take some money for themselves. On Pocketnet, you get everything for yourself. What are the services that will require Pocket Coin in the short term? You mentioned multi-sig ads. What else? Comments with chat. Remember the attaching Pocket Coin to comments for posts and for live streams. That's coming sooner than even the ads. That's going to be July. Exclusive and non-exclusive NFTs, all that requires Pocket Coin because there'll be an auction and it can only be done with Pocket Coin. Okay, boosting posts is also on the way. So there are quite a few ways where you need Pocket Coin. You will also need Pocket Coin to increase limits for loading videos or doing streaming, and there's going to be kind of a scale where you need Pocket Coin. So you will need it for a lot of things soon. So Bitcoin is a big Ponzi scheme as long as people don't see the power of what it could do. Yeah, you're right. When people are only interested in making profits with it in fiat crypto money, then BTC will not achieve. You know what? What's the name? The crypto network. You're absolutely right. In fact, I have a slide, and we're short on time, and I love so many people here today, so active. I still have 36 questions to go. This is great, guys. Stick around. I'll go through all of them. I'll open up the window because I'm sweating. It's very hot and it's exciting. So, Bitcoin, you're absolutely right. I even have a slide that said that, I wrote an article. I will try to look for. I actually wrote it on Pocketnet. Daniel S is my blog. I haven't used it for a while because it's busy. But I wrote an article where I said that as long as crypto is focused on speculation, it's dead. It will be manipulated. You're absolutely right. That's why I think that things like Pocketnet are crucial, where you give real value to the coin. And I think the Bitcoin will survive no matter what, but most of the others will not survive. They're purely speculation vehicles. You really need substantial, serious value in the platform, and that's what we did with Pocketnet. Notice that we didn't rush, with Pocket Coin. We didn't rush to promote it, and so for 3 years we basically let it hang out, and because we care about the platform, we want to create value first, and then everything else will come. So you're absolutely right that crypto needs something where they keep anchoring crypto against fiat, right? Bitcoin is worth so many dollars. That's a losing proposition in the end. It may be good as an interim proposition, but it's losing in the end. What you need is so much Bitcoin for this service, and it's happening already because more and more you can do more and more with crypto online, right? You can buy stuff with crypto, so it is happening. They will stick us with the US dollars while Kryptonite writes, they will stick us with US dollars while they hold an elite currency XRP, I'm guessing. ICP is fake. I don't know about ACP much. XRP is definitely centralized. BTC will be value storage. Yeah, I think Bitcoin will survive unless they just go out and destroy it, which I think they'll try to, but we'll see. Economics drives all innovation. It's true. Ultimately, economics. I mean, not just economics, but I would say it's a necessary but not sufficient requirement, right? In math, you have this in logic. It's necessary but not sufficient. So you need to have the economics right. But if you have the economics right, is everything will follow? Not quite, but I think we have more than economics. XRP, XLM, XDG, algo, the chosen ones. I don't know much. I know XRP. It's definitely centralized. Other questions. Rules for pocket store and profit sharing. Daniel Weiberg. Can you clarify, Daniel? I don't know what you mean by rules for pocket store and profit sharing. Online videos about node creation. So video nodes right now we're running some in test nodes, and by we I mean a bunch of enthusiasts that were very early, that are technically savvy, and they're not making any money. Video nodes right now are not making pocket coin, but in the next iteration, which is coming, it's going to be released to everybody, and then video nodes right now they're just providing a service because we're figuring it out, not figuring it out, but writing the code. But once the coders do their thing, we're going to release the node. Anybody can spin it up and make money. So ICP is project of a Definity. There's a lot of hype and promises. They aim to replace the entire version internet. I mean, it'd be interesting, right? I think that as much as for example, I'm not so high on Ethereum. You probably noticed I'm not like an Ethereum guy, but we are gonna get a domain on Ethereum just in case. We're gonna get a couple of decentralized domains. Ultimately, if Pocketnet.app is shut down, our desktop app will work no problem. It speaks directly to the nodes. It has your own proxy in there if you want. So it works beautifully without the Pocketnet.app. But we will have .crypto and so on and so forth. Absolutely right. Bitcoin was the idea for a solution that will solve the world's biggest problem, taking up the corrupt middleman. As long as people are liable to manipulate, there will be an unfair ecosystem. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the whole point. That is the whole point of it. Reward for attending all 4 sessions. Good attention. So let's do this. If you know your Pocketnet username now, why don't you write it in the email to support at Pocketnet.app. We'll send you a gift. Everybody who attended here will get 5 pocket coins. Pocketnet.app. Also, I'm trying to think what other way we could do that other than the email. Yeah, the email is the best way, because if you start commenting under the post, then other people will sort of pretend. So 5 pocket coin gift for each one of you. Thank you for being here. It's great energy. We don't speak, but I fear it. I don't fear it. I feel it. Daniel Weiberg wrote, I'm working on building a Pocketnet store, but I need to know if there's any rules to where it can be hosted and it can be attached to gamers. Yeah, so that's a great question. I mean, you don't need to host it anywhere. You have your Pocketnet account. It could be a store. You can accept coins right there. We just need to create some widgets where you can attach a price, so you can create price tags, right? So somebody buys this, you get pocket coin, and they fill out some information for you. We can do that, right? We can do that, but it's not there yet, but it will be. Daniel writes, I'm building a server computer that is storage massive with the forward compatibility. My intent. Thank you so much, Daniel. This is great. It's because of people like you that don't just applaud, but go actually do stuff, put together nodes, computers, that we moving forward. Eduardo, I have several businesses to advertise. Should I get a different account? You could. I mean, the advertising is not live yet, but I don't think it hurts to get a separate account for each of your business, especially if they're different. You're going to be wanting to feature like your goods, and they're going to be, you don't want to mix them up. Okay. What is the email? I wrote support at pocketnet.app. So you write to support at pocketnet.app, but you have to write within like 30 minutes, because later other people will find out. I get a lot of people asking for pocket coin, and other people. I will make sure everybody who reads the email knows that within 30 minutes, write an email to support at pocketnet.app with your Pocketnet address. You don't need to give me your Pocketnet username even if you don't want to. You can just get an address, not the one associated with the username. In your wallet and Pocketnet, you can create other addresses. Okay, so you'll get 5 pocket coin. In fact, you know what? Let me correct this. Not support. Can you write it to core at pocketnet.app? I'm sorry, core at pocketnet.app. They're the ones that will send you 5 coins. Thank you so much for the session. This has been great. Just amazing audience, amazing everything. I love it. Thank you for joining. We'll do this again. There are big news coming. You will see that in the past month, almost every week there was some big news about Pocketnet. In the next 2 months, it will keep the pace, because for a year we put the foundation, we laid the groundwork. Now almost every week something cool will come out, because the framework is there. Okay, I love the energy here. YouTube killer. That's right. YouTube deserves deserves to be put out of their misery. So with video, I saw, by the way, do you see the French? Yeah, core at pocketnet.app, Matthew. That's right. Core at pocketnet.app. Uh, do you see do you see the French feed? What's going on? The French language? There's lots of bloggers. Look at some of those profiles. I don't speak French, but I went to these are big bloggers. French language is becoming exploding. Look at the views on the videos. They just started joining like 3 or 4 days ago. We already have videos like close to 1,000 views. It may not be much for YouTube, but for Pocketnet, just in a couple of days, French video section is like amazing because you have some big bloggers there. So that's gonna happen. A couple of questions. Yeah. So I think I answered everything. We're gonna, yeah, magnifique. Exactly. Thank you so much. Write to us. We're gonna do these live sessions again. There'll be other people doing them, not just me. Support Pocketnet. If you have the means, buy Pocketcoin and hold it. I mean, you're still gonna get your 5, but buy more. I'm not advising it as a quick get rich quick scheme, but more of a support for the project. So you can buy Pocketnet on Biloxi. I think it's done quite well. Honestly, we're not like following, what is it? Yeah, it's like $4, 420 actually. Buy some Pocketcoin to support the project because that helps us compensate developers and so on. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody. We'll be in touch. I send the link to buy Pocketcoin on the Biloxi exchange. That's the best one. You have to open an account. I don't think they have any really like any onerous registration rules. Buy some at Biloxi, support the project in the long run, and let's make things happen. I think it's a community, right? Whatever you can do, however you can help, please do it. If you can run a node, run a node. If you can post good content, do it. You can invite bloggers, do it. We have a great video by Donnie. No, Biloxi is not in the USA. Biloxi is like a Hong Kong exchange. We're not on. I don't think US exchanges want to. The US exchanges is all black corporations and legal stuff. There's a video that if you go to Pocketnet team, if you search for our profile, there's a search on the top. You'll see a video for bloggers by Donnie, one of the blogger users, about our bonus. If you take that video and send it to all the bloggers you follow, there'll be, that will be great because people need to know about this bonus. Take care. Have a great day. I loved it. This was the best session by far. Thank you. Great energy. Bye. Bye.